Welcome to Anchored at Harbor Park CrossFit, a show dedicated to helping you find enrichment for the other 23 hours of your day outside of the gym. Here's your hosts, Jason, Dave, and Corian.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Episode 83 of Anchored at Harbor Park. The final episode. Dun, dun, dun.
I'm Coach Dave.
Coach Corian.
Coach Jason.
And like Jason said, this is kind of like an end of an era. After 83 episodes, we are saying this is the final one, but then we're also announcing that the next one will be with me and Corian. So it's just the final of this era, I guess we could say, right?
Right.
A little
So
trio.
It's not going away. It just,
It's hard,
it's morphing.
and it's hard to get together every week
Right.
and like make sure that we have an episode. And I mean, we've done 83 now.
Fuck, even me and Rachel, like if we miss our time slot on Thursday, it's just not an episode for that week because we're not willing to give up our weekend when we have limited weekends and we just don't have other time.
Right.
Yeah.
Whereas like the three of us, if we miss it, we're like, okay, when can we fit it in and what can we do? And
now with me, being all hands on deck down in Kenosha, it's just not realistic to get up here.
yeah.
I think for a while there, it is good content that we come out with, and I think we just maybe forced it too much, and like, oh, it's Monday, we have to podcast, we have to have that episode, and we were so like consistent with making sure it was every week, as opposed to like the plan going forward with Corian and I when we continue this.
and what Rachel and I do.
Yeah, is just going to be like, do we have an episode of like relevant content that we really feel is good for a show? And if we don't, we're not going to force it. So it'll be maybe you'll get 4 episodes a month, maybe you'll get more, maybe you'll only get 1 a month, and we're just going to let it kind of evolve that way.
Can I ask you guys like a question? And I will not be offended. Have you guys listened to me and Rachel's podcast at all?
No.
I've done it, but I've been stuck on, I haven't listened to any podcast but one, except for the one episode you sent.
Yeah.
I only listened to one pretty much this whole year. So.
Yeah. It's totally okay. I just was going to talk about, and I kind of brought this up with you guys before, which is what prompted us to do this episode is my favorite people, Kathleen and Emily from Being Boss, did a podcast episode, and I listen to theirs all the time. And when I first started listening to them 3 or so years ago, they put podcasts out every week. Same, just like us. It was like a Monday thing, and then they started coming out with what was called mini-sodes on Fridays. So like their regular podcast would be like maybe anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour. Their mini-sode was like 8 to 10 minutes. I'm just like one of them doing like a quick little thing. And then this year, their podcast really fell off. They were maybe doing once a month. And then that last episode I listened to was them explaining everything they've been going through for the last 4 years as business besties and all the things they did and how their company was changing. And I believe Emily is buying Kathleen out, but not 100%. And Emily's going to carry on the business and the podcast and the Being Boss stuff, but kind of like in her own flair and own flavor. And I was like, wow, that is like everything we've gone through. Mm-hmm. So like they started their company together in 2015. I was like, look at that. And then they kind of blew up in 2018 with their Being Boss book. They did a book tour and they did all these things. And they just said from there they were just riding this long burnout. And it wasn't until like several months later that they realized that this was independently that this was going on. They didn't even talk to each other. Mm-hmm. But like one of them couldn't create content anymore. She couldn't make decisions in her business. She just felt so stuck. And like the other one's like didn't even want to get out of bed. And like you would have never known this listening to their podcast and all their content creation. And so they on their own terms kind of dealt with their business burnout and then realized what their action steps were, what they needed, and then they came together and both of them were like, oh shit, like yes, I'm feeling that way too, and then what can we do going forward? And how can we make this like what we want? And I was like, literally this is everything that just happened with us.
Yeah, I wouldn't categorize mine as burnout though.
I'm not gonna lie, I 100%
You might.
I
feel burnt
definitely
out.
was.
Yeah, I know you two were. I wasn't burnt out. I was probably approaching that. It was just maybe more of a stress of like feeling torn of, and this is what I explained to people when they asked me about it. It was like, well, it was, I couldn't make relationships with everyone, even though I wanted to. And I have people asking me for things, and it'd be like, I have to look at my schedule, and I'd be like, I'll be back next week, Tuesday. And then, they have to wait 5 days before I'm back. And I think Jason, you and I were talking about this earlier, is you don't really, even though you see them, you only see those people that come to that class or those classes during those times. So when you have,
That's okay, we can take a brief pause. What's up? We're podcasting. That's okay.
Very small for you guys.
oh, look at this.
So sweet.
No. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you. Will you not be here tonight?
I can't make it tonight. It's nice to see you. Yeah. We miss you here. I'm sure the Kenosha guys miss you.
Say hi to our podcast.
How are you? You're on the show.
Sharif's on the show,
So,
man.
hopefully you can edit this out.
It's all right. Thank you, Sharif.
Thank
Merry
you so
Christmas.
Much. Bye. Aw. Yeah.
And see, we have better connections, I feel, with our members. And see, like you have, Sharif, who sees us every day, and I guess,
love him.
and that's the thing, is like I felt like for me, it was hard to make that commitment to everyone, and I felt torn between who I was going to or which gym I had to run to, and if like there was a project that needed me to attend to, it was like, well, I only have time on Thursdays, and I have this to do in Kenosha. What's the priority?
Right.
So
And I also, again, some hard truths that we have to deal with, but one of our members told Coach Rachel, Dave and Corian seem happier, they seem funner, they seem more approachable. And I was talking to Ashley O, and she's like, I don't think that people would have known the difference if you didn't change, but because now you have, looking back, like, yeah, you guys were tired. I'm like, yeah, because if I was having a bad day, that was the day you got me that week, like,
Right.
that's all you saw.
Yeah.
And like you said, like, a lot of our members do hit up Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So when we're only hitting a Tuesday or maybe a Thursday, or like me, I had events or fairs or something and missed my Tuesday, and I really don't see anybody. So it made it hard. And I think that part of the reason why maybe Jason and I are doing more of the burnout is because, like, they were talking about their being boss was each of their second companies. So Dave, you don't have any other side hustle, which we've talked about too, whereas Jason and I do. And I think too, even just bringing Own back into the gym and not having it a separate company, like I didn't even fight you on it. I was like, all right, whatever. Because like, that's how I love my clients, and I know that they'll come with me, but that's how unexcited I was about my own company and how burnt out I was.
yeah, I think you treated your company as like, I have to work today no matter what. This is the only day I get because it's my day off, but it's a Sunday and I have to do some work for my company because starting another busy week. And then you were resentful to both, like underneath, and then you were just, it was hard for you to be 100% committed to either one. So that was part of what our thing was going forward here was, let's get rid of Own because that's a stressor, and like not stop doing what you're doing, but now you can do it with the gym.
Yeah, and I don't think I ever even told you, but like Dave knew, like I'd be so resentful of the gym taking the one day that I could coach my clients because they mean so much to me. And like I want to connect with them, and like I just got 2 new clients. One's in Oregon, and we had our first call yesterday. She is hilarious, and I love her. She showed up with a notebook, like ready to learn, and I was like, yes. And then my other guy today that I started with, he's amazing too, and he's like, most people would wait till the first of the year to get started, but because of the holidays. But why? Like my life is at a pinnacle point. Like I have to start now. One more day, it's not gonna help me. And so like now I feel like I can be everything for everyone, whereas like before I just didn't feel that way.
Yeah, for me, so to give like a little bit more background on like how the gym was running, like we have like sections, we call them quadrants. So like the morning in Kenosha was a quadrant, the evening in Kenosha, and then the morning in Racine. So we had these 4 different quadrants. And I was trying to be friends with everyone, like morning at both locations, evening at both locations. And it got to the point where like I just hit my capacity for caring about people, as bad as that sounds. And like people would come up to me to talk because I'd only be here once a week, and like in my mind I was like, oh, I really don't want to talk because, you know, I've been talking with 200 people and trying to be friends.
I was going to say, because you may have already had 5 tough conversations that day.
Right.
You know, or that week.
And that, like, after a couple of weeks of that, I really realized, like, okay, something's wrong here. Like, this shouldn't be right. And that was kind of like my burnout. It's like, I didn't want to come because I didn't want to, you know, have to connect with people being, you know, past my capabilities.
Yeah.
If that makes
And we say this all the time. Like, don't know the book that we read it on. Corian probably knows it off the top of her head, but it was, you know, a business book that talked about was it Crucial Conversations?
No, it's a Simon Sinek. You're talking about the 150
where you can only have 150 connections, meaningful connections with people and at a time. So when you're dealing with, like you said, at the time, it's between the 2 gyms, over 200, it's just like, you know, you're at your capacity. Whereas now you can just worry about your people, you know, and I still have relationships with some of those people, and I still care about all of them, you know.
Yeah,
but
that was the hardest part, was like the whole business side made complete sense. Like, we didn't have any question. The hard part was, you know, now I wouldn't see Racine people as much, and you guys wouldn't see Kenosha. That was, you know, the hard part, and that would really kind of hurt us a little bit.
That's part of business, though. Sometimes you have to make the decisions, because even though it's a hard decision, and I'm sure there are some members who maybe are a little resentful of it, or like, hey, I don't get to see Dave or Corian, or we don't get to see Jason. I've heard that, you know. Obviously Sharif just came in here and says he misses you. It is tough, but like when we look at it on all the way around, it makes the most sense for the gym and everyone in the community, so it's better for them. You know, it was kind of like stop being selfish and saying that I'm going to run both gyms. Like, are we being selfish for ourselves because we own both of them? Whereas, let's take a step back. Jason, you know, we've worked together for 4 years. I can trust you with Kenosha. You can trust us with Racine. And let's, you know, give 100% to those communities.
And the thing that has been really cool over the past 3 weeks is, you know, for the past 2 or 3 years, the 3 of us have kind of like, we got super like dialed into our roles, you know. And for me, the majority of it was kind of behind the scenes, kind of like steering the ship, if you will. And I think I kind of just told myself, like, I wouldn't be good at, or I wouldn't like kind of the day-to-day things, like the daily operations kind of stuff. But having been doing it, I'm really liking it.
Yeah.
It's like a whole new world to me. It's exciting. I'm learning new things. I'm trying new things. You know, like getting new people in and getting them signed up. Like that's really, it's been fun and exciting. And then just like we talked about, like the second week of the actual split, I didn't even think about this, but Rob Nitz was working out, and we had some things on the rig, and it was kind of in his way, and he like moved and didn't see, but I took him off, and I got the thing set up for him, and he was like kind of blown away that I did that. I was like, man, the service here is, like, he was kind of joking, but it was like those kind of little things that maybe before I wouldn't have known or cared about because I was kind of too burned out. Like, I'm able to do those little things now that's going to make the difference for our members.
Yeah.
I think that one of the things I didn't realize, and maybe you didn't either, or whatever, is like what you said. You're like, I was the behind the scenes person. And I feel like that role, title, verbiage subconsciously, held you back because you didn't create as much content. You didn't want to post in the groups as much. You didn't make the videos. And I think that maybe just being, you know, the head coach and, you know, the systems guy, you just subconsciously were like, that's not my role.
Like, my lane is back here.
Even when you're at the gym, like, my lane's, you know, away from everybody. And so I didn't realize that how much words and titles play a part in what you do until me and Nina kind of had our big aha moment, because she came to me and she's like, even though I know you don't think less of me and I know as much as you do, the term employee makes me feel very inferior and I can't talk to you the same. And I was like, but Like, to me, that doesn't mean anything. Like, you're not at all. Like, you have so much more experience. And she's like, I can't operate under the term employee for you, because I just feel like it is a whole different realm. And I feel like that's the same thing with you being like, the systems guy.
Right. So yeah, that's been something that's really exciting.
Yeah.
Then another thing, like, for like Dave, for you managing 2 locations, I realized like so much stuff we would take to like 80% complete. Mm-hmm. Then kind of like you talked about before. It's like, okay, well,
Dave's
now
worst thing ever.
Well, I mean, it makes so much sense. We had so much to do and 2 locations. Okay, this is good enough. Like, it's 80% done. I'm gonna go take care of the next thing that's falling apart.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas now that I'm at the gym 5 days a week, it's like,
right.
Oh, I have time to finish this last 20%.
Or maybe you didn't even want to start a project because
Right.
you don't have the time to finish it when
Right.
you're going back and forth.
Yeah, I mean, it took me to frame that wall in the massage room. Hannah asked me, and I was like, yeah, I'll get that done in a week. And it turned out being like 3 or 4 weeks. But I was able to, once we made the transition, that whole week I was here, I had a couple free moments. So I was like, I had it done in 3 days when I was here. But it took me 3 weeks to just frame it in, And then like you see like the weights are all stacked. Finally got, I was like, I'm going to get PVCs for all of them because I'm sick of them being all disordered. And then I had, Nick move the bands for me, and just like little tasks are getting done because I can see it every day. So I'm like, that has to get done. And you're right, because you'd be like, well, this is as much as I can do. And do I really feel like doing that? No, because that's not a priority right now, because the other thing is a priority. The bikes are falling apart. I got to get...
Yeah, right. So I totally understand it. And like I've been telling people, we were so busy, we just didn't see a lot of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We just got all our... I know we were doing barbells down in Kenosha. We just did all our bars up here. We had a bunch of PRs on Wednesday. I like to think that maybe that had something to do with it. I had a lot of people saying, well, the spin on the bars is amazing.
Yeah, I think, like you said, if we would have gone down the same route, I don't think anybody would have known that there was a better way to do it, or that it could be better. Mm-hmm. Until you get into it. I mean, when we first had this idea, we weren't even sure. Mm-hmm. And now, like, the more we go through it, the more we talk to people, the more that everyone's like, why did you do that in the first place? I'm like, I don't fucking know.
Like, we didn't run a business before, so like it was all new. Like, looking back at it, it was probably a really bad decision of how we ran it in the beginning, but we didn't know any better.
But you know what? Like, yeah, maybe like thinking about it, but like for me, managing the 2 gyms, like now that I'm only focusing on the one, like the scale is so much smaller. It's almost like if you were sprinting down a road and then you went back again and just did a jog. And like you can see everything so much better and so much clearer. So it's kind of like we did so much stuff on 2 gyms. Now that it's just one, it's like so much easier to see things and like to fix things when they come up or to handle things.
Right.
And like I said, I mean, was it the best choice? Was it the worst choice? Who knows? We're still here after 4.5 years, so we're clearly making something work. But I think that spending the time that we did in our roles makes it easier when we're learning, now that we're learning the new ones. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't have to work as hard on certain things while I learn all the things that you did that I don't want to fucking do, but I'm doing them. We're, because I have the client stuff down, because we have the coaching stuff down, it makes it easier to bring that into my realm.
Yeah, and I think looking back on it as well, like we talk about, giving time to our communities and the people here, like we also have realized that coaches too, for one, we found it was really difficult for them because it was like, well, if I was here on Monday, but Jason's Tuesday and Corian's Wednesday, they had a different boss every day. So who do they report to? Because then they would come to one of us with an issue and we'd be like, well, that's Corian. And then they maybe didn't see Corian for a couple of days, or, you know what I mean? And then they were like, well, who do I talk to? And who do, even though we had our roles, I think it was very confusing for them. So one of the things that I think this is helping is our coaches now have just one clear boss to go to, obviously 2 here, because somebody asked me, somebody asked me, why do you get 2? And I'm like, what? And, well, Jason gets 1. And I'm like, but I'm married to Corian. That'd be weird. That's the only reason. And they're like, oh. And I'm like,
Do you know what's funny? So, you weren't here, but me and Rachel did a podcast yesterday, and right before my podcast, I had a massage with Hannah, and Hannah hit me with some hard friggin' truth. But then me and Rachel were talking, and long story short, like Hannah basically said, and maybe I should have realized this, that I'm very guarded and people don't know a lot about me. And I'm like, I fucking talk all the time. But then I started thinking, I was like, maybe I don't really say anything meaningful. But Rachel's like, it's okay, like you're a boss. And Rachel's like, I wonder how many people don't even know that you and Dave are married. Because
people used to think Jason and you, you're married.
Because we don't talk about it. It's not like we run around here
smooching like Blair and Rachel.
And I'm like, just little things like that. And Hannah was like, well, how many people even know that your mom lives in Arizona in the winter and that most of your family's not here and most of Dave's family? I'm like, probably not.
Yeah.
And Rachel's like, yeah, all you talk about is the gym and your nutrition and what's going on in the business. I'm like, fuck. And then I started questioning. I'm like, do I not have anything going on in my life?
No, that might be true, but also, it's so top of mind and priority for you.
Exactly. And Rachel's like, you're a boss and there's a line.
Right.
And you just have to, and I'm like, okay. But anyway, I was like, I don't think people knew a lot about us for various reasons. We weren't around as much. We didn't get to see all that stuff. I know that I felt very conflicted sharing my, Dave would tell me all this time, share your vlog, share your posts in the group. And I'm like, no, I can't. But that's my way of telling people more about me. Me and Rachel's podcast is super raw and a lot of stuff that just comes out. And I don't feel hesitant to share that anymore. I'm okay with it and I post it in the group.
Mm-hmm.
So
I know that there has been some confusion maybe about the split or what it means.
Sorry guys, we're all still one team. You're stuck with all three of us no matter what.
I kind of want to touch on that as maybe what the vision was, what really is going on, so that people, maybe if they're listening to this, understand that we're still a team, that we're still considered sister gyms.
Yeah, Rachel Nitz made a comment. She said it's my parents got divorced. And kind of because we're separate, but it's not an ugly one.
Yeah.
No.
I think, and it wasn't like we have to split because we can't get along with each other. That's, I think, I heard somebody say that, did they not get along? And somebody was asking me, I was like, no, that's not, that wasn't the reason.
We get along way better now than we did when we first started.
We literally went into our yearly planning meeting, and then all of a sudden we sat down and we're like, okay, we're going to plan out 2020. And then it was kind of like, I have a revelation maybe we should talk about. And I was like, okay. And then it was like,
and I think it's a big thing, for 4 years, we never really talked about anything but
both gyms.
The business.
Yeah.
We never, every now and then, but we never talked about how each other's doing. And since, maybe it's because we're only seeing each other once every couple of weeks, we sit down and how's it going? What's going on? Instead of, oh, sorry, Dave, I forgot to do this or whatever.
Right. And then, hold resentment to that. Whereas now it's like, I don't have to because there is no, you're in charge of Kenosha, I'm in charge of Racine. And it's kind of like, if you guys look at the other gyms out there who do this, there's several gyms that have multiple locations, and they all have a business manager or somebody who runs each location separately. And the owner owns them all, but they can't be everywhere. So NC Fit is one, have 3 or 4 of them. Invictus has 3 or 4 of them. Trying to think of a couple others, but they all have we are Harbor Park CrossFit, and then Racine location just has the Racine attached to it, just like Invictus would have Invictus downtown. So it's kind of similar, right? We have those, and then each one of us, we're going to allow the gyms. I think one of the things that we always tried to do is we tried to push in the very beginning was 2 gyms, 1 community. And I think
we still are.
We are, yes, because you're still Harbor Park, right? And we still will do some things together. But
we're going to allow each individual community to kind of blossom.
Yeah, and thrive. And I think that was one of the things we noticed is people in Racine are completely different than the people in Kenosha. Different likes, different wants, different needs. And for a long time we were just trying to be we're going to close down one gym to do this event in Kenosha, close down Kenosha to do this event in Racine. And some people enjoyed that, some people didn't, but maybe we were forcing it too much, as opposed to now we're just going to, last year we kind of tested it with not doing that as much. We did both locations for certain things, and
I think what messed up there is because, again, us as owners and coaches, and even our community, we're everybody needs to be at every activity still. And that just got exhausting.
Well, because we were trying to make friends with everybody. You're trying to, create that community, and it was just, maybe it was too much. So now it's just, and like some of the things, like Christine yelled at me the other day about why the recipes had Harbor Park Racine. I was like, because I created them. And she's like...
And I explained it to her.
She was really confused.
Like, the actual official name of, their location, so it makes
Which
sense.
it always has been.
Right.
Yeah, we just took the Racine out of it, but now we're going by it to kind of differentiate just a little bit so there isn't confusion. That's the point. We're trying to, if the thing comes from me and it says Harbor Park Racine, that is my stuff, you know what I mean? And then and yours, which we both benefit from the name. But I guess some people had questions, which is fine. I just, I thought it was funny.
Members are still allowed to go to all our events and, go to both gyms, but I just think that, like, the pressure's off.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And it's just like, now it's just like, okay, just be you.
Yeah.
What do you want to do?
And then allowing Jason or us to run the facility based on what the community needs. Like, you have some freedom there. And, like, if something's not working or we need help, we just can run it by each other. Hey, this is what I'm planning on doing. What do you think? And that might work for you. Like, you ran a promotion, and I was like, yeah, go for it, try it, So.
And just even class times. I mean, how often do we ask about class times and we try to put everything into a vote, and it's literally just like split.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, fuck, who do we make happy and who do we make sad?
Right.
And even though we still won't do that with all of our members, like, it's a smaller pool and a smaller demographic and more similar demographic when you're asking those questions.
Mm-hmm. So, Jason, what do you got coming up in 2020? Any big plans?
Personally or for the gym?
Well, let's go both.
Not anything crazy out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
Well,
there's no CrossFit Open in the spring, so...
we get to go to New York for a baptism.
Ooh.
In February. That's really the only thing I got on my plate come the new year.
Nice.
Obviously, I plan on being pretty
busy
with the gym, especially in January. Think about doing some sort of something in the new year for the gym to really get people excited and checking us out, whether that's like, I thought about doing like a re-grand opening, but I think that's not really applicable, but just something like grand openings get a ton of excitement, like something along that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, the New Year's perfect time for...
You could, instead of doing a grand opening, you could say opening the new decade.
Yeah.
See, it's a new decade.
This is totally off topic, but I came up with the best idea for New Year's Eve if you want to be a part of it.
What's that?
So we're all super old and don't like to stay up. But we're closing at 6 p.m. still. And I was like, maybe we'll just do like an early dinner, like a 7, because me and Rachel will be here, so like Dave and Blair can get it ready or whatever. And then like celebrate the ball drop at like 8 when it's in like London, and then go the fuck home and let's go to bed. Because like I want to celebrate it because it's a new decade, but I do not want to stay up till midnight.
My cousin is having a party, and I think we committed to her.
Yeah.
She just like got her brand new like first home, and she wanted to have a party. So
Nice.
But then again, we're going to be open on New Year's Eve or New Year's Day. This is the first year we've done that.
Are you going all day?
So,
or are you just doing your
just
9?
the 9 a.m.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing.
Yeah. So.
Well, what we got planned, and I think we kind of chatted about it with you earlier, was trying to talk about our Sundays and Thursday programming, trying to play with that a little bit. We've always kind of revisited this. We've gone through phases where it was complete rest day and round one only, and then being pretty strict with that. And then it was like, all right, we got to give some people some freedom. And then it was like open gym format. Then we went back to class format. Then we went to skills stuff. And then it was like, all right, skills with some flow session. And we started realizing like, well, if somebody's coming Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or they can only do Tuesday, Thursday, maybe Sunday because of their schedule.
Out of town for the weekend.
Or like I was talking to Nate today, he does Monday through Friday. And then he's like, I take the weekends off. So if people have a different schedule other than what they follow with the gym, then Thursdays are coming in and there's really nothing here. There's no structure for them. Then I'm kind of either forcing them to make lose a day, or kind of like do your own thing or make up a workout. So like, and I was watching the past couple weeks. It's like Thursday nights we're busy and like people are in here just they're like all over the place. They're all doing workouts, and they saw something on CrossFit.com, or they're doing a workout that they want. I'm like, they're working out anyways. So I'm telling them it's a rest day, but they're in here working out, and you can't tell them not to. I mean, it's their decision ultimately. So I'm like, we're just going to go back to programming as normal, 7 days a week, with Thursdays and Sundays being a little bit less intense. Or if it's a more intense workout, like yesterday we did Ghost, and it was like we just going to put the tracks on it, so the performance, or fitness and wellness was, perceived effort of 60% or less. You should be able to have a conversation through this entire thing, use it as a flow. If you were here the entire week or you're sore, and then the performance was, you could do this as intended. If you just need a workout. So like Nate, I know, did the workout as intended yesterday, because like I said, he goes Monday through Friday and then takes Saturday, Sunday off. So I think it's going to be a new evolution, something.
And this is kind of where, and this is not good nor bad, this is the difference between Racine and Kenosha. I love you guys both, but Racine, all about recovery. They will do it on their own. They love them some Ramwad. They love the ready state now. They'll stay extra and stretch. It's just what they do. They all do yoga, Pilates, and all that sort of stuff. Kenosha members, not so much.
Still do heroes on Sunday. I don't get it.
Yeah, but again, so that's us trying to force these two communities to be the same. Whereas, if I tell Racine we're gonna have a class scheduled workout every day, and in our video that we released to them, we said, now Thursdays we'll program the wellness track as a lower perceived exertion, but don't be afraid to do that if you're already sore by Wednesday, or come Friday you're sore. Any day can be that way. I have great faith that Racine will follow that. People definitely listen to their bodies a lot more up here, and they're willing to take that step back when their body's not feeling it. I have people do that all the time during the week, and it's not a Thursday. So I think it'll be fine up here. I'm not worried about people overtraining.
Yeah, it's just different communities, different. Like we said, they're just a little different,
We're still programming recovery though.
Yeah, I'm still gonna put. I mean, we do mobility every day, but I'm still. My goal is to program the Ready State and Ramwad as part of class, which those are both available every single day. After any class you want, and during open gyms you can grab it, but specifically during class will be those days. And got a really good feedback on the Ready State yesterday. Yeah, it was good. People liked it. Good. And then maybe we're going to be doing some type of New Year's promotion. I'm putting thought to it right now. But
I also want to say for the new year that Blair is going to Sanctionals, and we're going to have a lot of fundraising.
Oh, yeah.
You can support him too.
So you'll see his t-shirt coming out. I think he's already posted it. And then he wants to do some type of spaghetti dinner.
No. I came up with a better one. No spaghetti dinner. Okay. We're doing wad and woofles.
Nice. Wad and woofles. All right.
I couldn't sleep one night. So I had a lot of thinking to do.
And that was what you came up with,
wad and woofles.
Okay.
And we're gonna
bring dogs.
And we'll have some breakfast stuff, and it'll be more of a fun community thing, so you can bring your friends and that. And then we're gonna try and collect raffle prizes. So anybody that's listening to this and wants to donate a raffle prize or anything like that, and then all the proceeds will go for him for his Sanctionals and stuff like that.
So he can travel.
We're really proud of him for that.
Awesome. All right, so this is the final episode with Coach Jason.
In closing, like Dave said, some people might have been saying it's one thing or the other, but we ultimately did this because we realized it's the best for us and the best for each gym and our company as a whole.
Yep.
We wouldn't have done it if we felt otherwise.
Trust me, we've made some hard fucking choices over the years, the three of us, and everything we do is because we love what we're doing and we're trying to make it the best.
I totally agree with that. Absolutely. Jason, it's been fun after these 83 episodes.
Thanks for taking the trek all the way up here.
But this will be our final episode with Jason on board, and then Corian and I will assume the helm going forward, episode 84, and we'll probably do this sometime in mid-January.
Yeah.
So.
Absolutely. We're going to give ourselves a little bit of a break, get through the holidays and things like that, and then kind of get after it. After, like Dave said, mid-January, but we're not going to force it. If we have a topic, coaches have a topic, or, we have things going on in the gym, we'll do a podcast. And if there's nothing, we're not going to talk just to talk.
Sounds good. All right,
Thanks, guys.
See you guys.
Bye-bye.
Happy New Year. Merry Christmas.
Stay classy.